Hello, I'm India, and welcome to our podcast, Green on the Go, brought to you by Holiday Extras. This podcast looks into how our travel habits affect the world around us, and essentially how we can travel better to maintain a sustainable future for this planet. Over the past couple of years, we've been making travel guide videos for our YouTube channel. And here's the thing. The more we travel, the more we've become aware of the effects we as humans and our travel habits are affecting the world we live in. In light of this, the Green on the Go podcast is a conversation about how we can learn to be more mindful on our adventures and learn ways to travel more sustainably together. So, I am delighted to be joined by the lovely Shannon from Project Biodiversity. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Here on Sal in Cabo Verde. So, we've had so much about you since we've been on this island. And in particular, the guys at TUI Care Foundation were saying to us, you've got to speak to them when you're here. You've got to find out about all the wonderful work that they're doing on the island.
That's very kind.
So let's start with, what is Project Biodiversity all about and why are you here on Sal?
Yeah, so Project Biodiversity is a nonprofit that was started here in Cabo Verde in 2015. It was sort of on the heels of a different project that had already been doing a little bit of turtle conservation prior to that, and had since finished. And it's our two current directors, so our executive director, Berta Ranum, and our co-director, Albert, wanted to see that kind of turtle conservation continue and also expand it to beyond just protecting the sea turtles, but also protecting the ecosystems and the sort of surrounding areas that make Sal the sort of wonderful place that it is.
Yeah.
So we were started in 2015 and with a really small group of people, and at the time our core focus was really turtle conservation. So one of the biggest threats that the sea turtle population faces here is the threat of poaching. It is sort of a problem that has kind of lingered over the course of several years, and while it's not necessarily commonplace, it definitely does still pose a threat to the species of sea turtle here that nests regularly, which is the loggerhead species. And since Cabo Verde is actually the third most important nesting site for this species of sea turtle, we really wanted to see a program and develop a program that was really community focused and really harnessed the power of kind of community pride and the pride that Cabo Verdean people take in turtles. You'll notice that they're everywhere. There are turtle icons.
Even like names of bars.
Exactly. So we, our main goal is to protect the nesting turtle against hunters, but then also to really tap into that pride and bring together people and the community that is inspired to kind of help us protect them as well. So
what are the poachers? Why are they hunting them? What do they want from the turtles?
So it differs in various other places in the world, but here in Cabo Verde, the poaching that primarily occurs is for the sea turtle meat. So during the nesting season, what happens is that poachers kind of opportunistically will take the turtle as she's coming up ashore to nest and hunt her for her meat. So what our team does is during that nesting season, we employ a group of Cabo Verdeans as well as bring together some international volunteers to patrol the main nesting beaches to protect the adult turtles from that poaching threat. Mm-hmm. One of the other things that actually is sort of becoming an increasing challenge here and in a lot of other touristic areas around the world is the human impact that maybe isn't as necessarily as harsh and shocking as poaching, but does still have a significant impact on these kinds of habitats and species.
Yeah. And I'm guessing with an island like Sal that has just, the tourism has rocketed in the past 10 years, there's so many more hotels that have probably popped up here. The light pollution is obviously going to have increased, and this must play an effect on the turtles and their breeding habits.
Yes. And so in addition to actually patrolling the beaches, another core part of our work during the nesting season is to protect those nests that otherwise would not have made it or would not survive on the beach. So you mentioned light pollution. That is actually one of the increasing threats that we find here on Sal, particularly with regards to sort of unregulated coastal development. So basically what happens is that hotels are building closer and closer to the beach, and the light pollution disorients the hatchlings. So usually when the nest hatches, the hatchlings will go towards the brightest horizon, which in nature is the light from the sky reflecting on the sea. But in areas with high coastal development, there is a lot of light pollution coming from the hotels. So if we had left, in those bright areas, if we leave the nests on the beach, the baby turtles won't survive.
Let's go the wrong way. And
exactly.
Die.
Yeah, exactly. So what we've done to kind of combat that is create what we call a turtle hatchery, basically a sea turtle hatchery, a conservation hatchery. And so what we do is we relocate those endangered nests into our hatchery to sort of babysit them, if you will, as during their incubation period. So it takes about 2 months for the nests to incubate and develop. So we put them in our hatchery and kind of wait until they're ready to hatch.
Oh, amazing. And I believe, fingers crossed, we're going to be going and seeing the hatchery.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to join us. Yes.
So is this sort of an excursion that you run with Explore Cape Verde to educate tourists on the turtles?
Yeah. So actually, Project Biodiversity and Explore Cape Verde are two completely separate entities.
Okay.
We are fortunate enough to have a lot of support from Explore Cape Verde, and in fact, they do donate a portion of their proceeds that they receive from their turtle excursions to us, which we're super grateful for. In terms of the hatchery, this is sort of, first and foremost, it's a conservation measure. Yeah. But given that it's sort of situated in a location that is very close to a lot of hotels and is easily accessible to people and people who are visiting, it also serves as sort of a public awareness opportunity. Yeah. And so basically what happens is we sort of do our afternoon work as we would do if there was no one here.
Right.
But in addition to that, we do sort of a short introduction and a short explanation of our project, why, sort of what I just explained to you, why we need to move the nests, what sort of impact that protecting this species has on the island, and sort of to give people an idea of what they can do just sort of in their everyday lives, and also particularly while they're here on Sal to help do their part to just protect this species.
And then they can take that on their travels around the world.
Exactly.
As well.
Yeah.
Because I guess there's sort of two-sided progress in there with wildlife excursions. There's one side of it, if you go with the right organisation, you're going to get educated and it's going to be in the best interest for the wildlife. On the other side, there are ones that can damage the wildlife.
Right.
And so it's a really tricky one to know whether it's a right or wrong to run these excursions that sort of interrupt nature's course.
Right.
And so how are you finding that you're battling that with other excursion providers around the island? Do you find that there's a lot of them that are doing it the wrong way?
So that has been historically one of the biggest challenges that we have faced, just in terms of trying to navigate that situation, because actually, nature excursions, and particularly during the nesting season, sea turtle excursions, are what draws people to the island and actually is what creates economic opportunity for local Cape Verdeans and for people who are just living here on the island and, like Explore Cape Verde, that have their own excursion companies. And so as sort of part of our tenet of working closely with communities, as opposed to just saying condemning essentially all turtle excursions, our goal is to really educate the guides and to kind of give a broader perspective of, if you conduct these excursions professionally and you are careful with the turtles and you are respectful of both people and nature, then it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that's one of the things that the Travel Foundation have been doing. They try and educate
right.
These tour guides to do it in a sustainable way possible, which is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
So obviously your focus has been on turtles.
Yes.
What other conservation projects have you also got running alongside this?
I'm so glad you asked that, because one of our main goals in the last year and a half or so is really expanding the scope of the work that we do here. So obviously we historically have a history with turtles, and we were sort of experts in that field, but we really wanted to expand our scope. So in addition to working with turtles, we work really closely with the school systems and the community groups here, not just to educate them about turtles, but to also sort of invite them to engage a little bit in discovering more about their island and discovering more about the benefits of sort of conserving those resources and being able to work together to do that. So we actually operate as part of the TUI Care Foundation's Turtle Aid program. We go into all of the schools on the island and sort of work with the curriculum to ensure that they're learning a little bit about nature, not just about turtles, but also about the ocean systems, about, sand erosion and beach and dune ecosystems and why preserving those are important. And we also do workshops for adults as well. So we want to really sort of get the whole sort of from young to old, get everyone involved. We also last year started a bird monitoring program. So there's actually a large and very interesting population of both seabirds and just birds that are wintering here. Mm-hmm. And so we sort of spearheaded a project last year to get to know and learn a little bit more about those populations, what their threats are, if tourism is having an impact on them, and if so, what are some sort of ways that we can help relieve that pressure.
I guess a lot of it is about research, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you can look at it and think, well, we don't know, but you've got to put the research in first,
right?
Then work out what to do with
exactly.
it next.
Exactly.
And so, Project Biodiversity has obviously grown in the past 2-3 years. It started, was it 2015?
2015, yeah.
Started. And what's the future for you guys? Is it going to stay in Cape Verde? Is it going to or stay in South? Go to other islands? Can you see it going further afield?
Yeah. So I think we're really committed to the community aspect of our work and sort of protecting the island and the island's resources. I think that we don't want to lose that sort of anchor in the work that we do. I think, though, that there is an opportunity as we look forward to sort of expand on what that looks like. So, for example, there are several natural preserves, so basically marine protected areas that at the moment aren't enforced in any way. And we are starting to work closely with the government and with some other agencies and community groups to figure out, is there an opportunity for us to kind of create parameters for protecting that area? And essentially, again, creating economic opportunity for people on the island that can also improve and protect nature as well. So I think for sure we'll probably stay, throughout Cape Verde, but I think the sky's the limit in terms of how we can sort of positively impact the wildlife here and sort of the people who come to visit and enjoy that wildlife.
Because it's only going to have, a positive knock-on effect. If you guys are helping to generate the wildlife here and keep it healthy,
right,
then it's going to keep the island more beautiful, keep it more appealing. It's
exactly.
More people are going to want to visit. It's
going
to increase the, the economy here.
Yeah.
It's whereas if you don't have that, it's all downhill.
Yeah.
and it's worrying. And this island, there's so much going for it.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous. It's just, I think you can tell that having tourism to suddenly be sprung on this island in the past 10 years has sort of had its impact. They don't really know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So I think what you guys are doing is incredible.
Well, thanks.
Absolutely incredible. And if sort of people back home, if they want to find out a little bit more about what you're doing, where can they find this?
Yeah, sure. So they can visit our website, which is www.projectbiodiversity.org. We have information, obviously, about the work that we do and the work that we're doing here. We also have information on our volunteer opportunities. So if anyone is interested in volunteering with the project in 2019, they can head to our website and check that out.
Great. Amazing.
Yeah.
incredible. Thank you so much for being chat to us today.
Yeah,
and can't wait to go and see the
looking forward to it. Looking forward to having you guys. Great.
Cool. A huge thank you and shout out to the sponsors of this show, Holiday Extras. Holiday Extras is the UK's market leader for travel extras, from airport hotels, parking, lounges, destination car hire and holiday insurance. Holiday Extras' purpose is less hassle, more holiday, but also believe this shouldn't come at a price to the environment or local communities, so are continuing to develop ways to improve the way we travel. So if you like what you've heard, then you can subscribe via iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. You'll also be able to watch every episode on our YouTube channel, Holiday Extras Travel Guides. And you can check out more of our travel videos there too. Thanks again for listening, and I can't wait to have you on board for the next episode.